Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're on the second video today. We've just completed this portrait with the Infinity X and we've got another brush we're going to be looking at, and it's another harder and steam bait. We are looking at the Grafo, guys. This is the T3 Grafo and it is a side feed airbrush. So we're going to move in closer. I'll show you the brush up close and we're going to give it a little test. See you in a minute. Right guys, there's the Grafo. Now this is one H&S that I've another one that I've always wanted to have a go with. You get the T3, I think the T2, T1. You get the side feed one and you get another, I think the T2's like a side feed as well. I'll pop an image up in the screen now, so that's the T2. And then the T1, if you've seen the Hansa video I did the other day, it's got the same sort of scallop to the front. Now what's different with the Grafo is, this is a controlled double action. So on a normal double action airbrush where you press down for your air and move back, this combines it all in one movement. So you literally just move back and forward and your air is there the minute you move back. So you've got no down pressing on it. You've got your quick fix at the back to dial in your trigger, and this will do your paint flow. So you dial that right in, press it, and it minimals the trigger going back. So if you want to do some real tight detail work, you can set that, and then if you want full trigger again, you can just clip that out and then you've got your full trigger movement. Side feed, this just slides on. You just slide it on like this, like that, and then you've got your jar that you will unscrew here that you put your paint in. This one's coming in on 0.4 needle and nozzle setup. So when you take the back off, you've got your little indicators to tell you what needle you've got in the back. And that just goes on there. So really nice blue back with this. You've got your gold accents on it. Very nice brush, really is. So what we'll do is we'll hook it up, I'll drop some paint in and we'll do a little test on the piece of paper and see what it sprays like. Right, so I've got some of the paint in. Now I'm using the same paint that I've just used on the video I've just done. So this is the Wicked mix with the ISO and I'm running 20 PSI. So when you press these triggers, or you move back on the trigger, that's when you get your paint. So move this side. Now this is a 0.4 guys. I'm going to take the, unscrew the crown cap. Now look how fine that 0.4 gets down. It's ridiculous on how well, I mean look at the detail on that. And all you're doing is moving back on the trigger. It just feels like you're using, when you work in the paint and you get the paint going, it just feels like you're using a normal double action airbrush, but you're just not pressing down with your finger. So you'll probably find when you use a normal double action and you're working it for some time, when you're pressing down on that spring all the time, you can get a little bit of finger fatigue because the springs do have a bit of resistance when you press down. But with this, you're just moving back. So there's no pressing down. So there's no hardness of like the springs when you press down, which it comes into this part of the body here. You literally just, you're moving back. I mean, that is ridiculously down for a 4mm setup. Really fine, and it will wallop the paint down, but atomises the paint. Absolutely lovely. I mean, look at that. You just rock that trigger forward, and then you can just go straight in. Dagger strokes are just so easy with these brushes that are like this. They really are. but super down. I mean, look at that for a 04 and how clean that puts it down. I've not got my glasses on. Let's get down on that. That's sharp. Let me get my glasses. That is sharp for a writing your name for a 04. There's not many brushes that will get down like that on a 04. Get it down smaller than that. There you go. That's 3mm. 3mm down, writing my name with a 04mm. So if this is the 04, what's the T1 going to be like with a 015 in it? It's incredible, you know. This brush has been around for a long time. I always wondered, and it was the only time I heard of a Grafo was John Callaghan that taught me how to airbrush. He mentioned the Grafo to me, and he says, oh, because I said, oh, the H&S brush that I was using at the time in his class, I went, this is lovely. He says, trust me, you want to try a Grafo. And that was the only time I seen one, and that was like 15, 16 years ago. But just phenomenal. Brilliant for a side feed. Like siphon with the jar on it. I've got an Iwata Eclipse, and this would annihilate the Eclipse. Absolutely annihilate it on what it can do. Really nice. So you can work with the crown cap on or off. I prefer to work with them off because then you can see what you're doing and where your needle is and how close you are. But brilliant, really nice to use, and as I say, it just lays the paint down. That's full trigger, so if you want to get some coverage, you can get it, and if you want to get some details, you'll get it. It just does everything you want it to do. It really does. So there you go. That's the T3 Grafo. Brilliant brush. Absolutely brilliant brush. Love it. In the box, you get another jar. So you could store your paint. You can literally just store it or have another one mixed up. You get your instruction booklet. You get a little tiny little rod type bar. And what that will do is, you can undo this sleeve here, I believe, on the side, under, and that bit comes out. The front head assembly on these is, I think it's identical to the original floating needle and nozzle. Yeah, exactly the same. So if you wanted to change the needle up in this to a 015, a needle, you could do that. You could change the front end, swap it over and turn this into a 015, 02, 045. You can drop what you want in it. It really is they've kept that system across from the Grafo all the way across. But this one, as I say, is a controlled double action. So you're not pressing down, you're just moving backwards and forwards. So you don't get none of that finger fatigue. If you work in long periods of time and you've got a tight spring in your air valve, you're literally just moving backwards and forwards, rocking the trigger. Gets a little bit, you gotta get used to it, but once you do, you can get seriously down comfortable with it. I mean, I got my name down there. That's gotta be, it's gotta be about 2 mil on that real small one down there. Yeah, 2 mil bang on. 2 mil letters. Wrote my name. So it's a serious bit of kit, guys. It really is. Nice sleek looking. You get your nice chrome front. You got the blue. I like the blue at the back. Just changes it up a bit. Quick fix to the back. Dome trigger in the gold. Very nice brush by H&S, and it's been around for a long time, guys. So it's one to look out for. I'll leave a link in the description to the T3 Grafo if you wanted to pick one up. Hope you enjoyed the little demo. You've basically seen it. It sprays a nice wide pattern, comfortably 20 psi, and I was running 20 psi going right up close. This paper is a cheap paper. It's not a synthetic paper. You'd get spider web in it on a synthetic paper or an aluminium panel. So just adjust your pressure accordingly. But that's what that brush can do, and that's how it can get down. Atomizes really nice for shading. It, I think that trigger movement is really nice for shading. It really is. You can just tickle the paint wherever you want it, and you can get it down. So thanks for watching. Drop your comments. Tell me your thoughts if you own a T3 Grafo or T2 or T1. Cheers, guys.